What is up, guys? Chase here with a tutorial on how to make spiral elevators for your trains. Uh, Through popular demand, I've had a few people on the subreddit where I posted a picture of this exact build ask to see how it's done, or ask the dimensions or measurements or whatever. And I think it's probably a little bit easier to just make a video and show people how it's done. So the first thing I think is important to know when you're building a spiral elevator is how the monorails work, or the railways I guess they're called in this game. Starting with the smallest perfect right angle you need to make, because making right angles is the #1 step in making a spiral look perfect like that one. So you need to know right angles. Step 1 is knowing that to make a right angle you have to go the same number of foundations forward as you do to the side. So if you go one foundation, you gotta up, you gotta go one foundation over, and so on and so forth. The downside here is that it doesn't work with 2x2s. You can't do it. But if you go to 3x3, so 1, 2, 3 foundations, 1, 2, 3 foundations, and you go to there, that's a perfect 90. It looks really goofy. It's too short or too sharp of a track to make in a 2x2. Sorry. You can do 4x4. 5x5, so on and so forth, going all the way up. Oh man, I need a little magnification on this guy. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Anyway, so you can do the same thing all the way up until 8. 8 will work, but if you try to go to 9, you run out of space. The railroad track is too long. That'd be 9 there. But we can do 8x8s. So the track is too long for a 9x9. That's an important thing to know, I think, when you're making your railway spiral, is that you can't go bigger than a 8x8. And you can't go smaller than a 3x3. So now that we know those numbers are important, let's set to making our first spiral. And I think to do this, we'll start with our 3x3 here. We can delete this because that was the one that was too small. That's 2x2. What I like to do is use the double ramps of the smallest variety. I think they're 2x, what do they call them? 1x2s, 2x2s? 8x2s, sorry. So that's the smallest double ramp. Looks like this. That's our way up. You can use bigger ones, I think, and you have to obviously set further back to go up that slope. But I think the taller sloped ramps don't look as good personally. It's a personal preference thing. If you like it, no problem, build it your way. I don't think you're gonna be, I'm not gonna say you're wrong or whatever building it the way that you like it. I just prefer the shallower slope. That's what all these are here. It's that shallow single ramp look, like this versus that, or even this. I just think that little short shallow spiral looks better, so that's what I use. For the first one, we'll start with a 3x3 and build up. So we're using the double ramps. We're going to go 1, 2, and then a flat, because it's going to be 2 up or 3 up and then 3 across. So we're going to double ramp again, 2 more, and that lets us bring a railway right up to this edge, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing again. Oh, can't have the railway in the way though. So double ramp, 1, 2, and a flat. And we're going to double ramp again, 1, 2, and a flat. Just kidding, not a flat. We're doing double ramp here. So we're going to go railway to the halfway point, or not halfway really, but the edge, and then same thing again up here. We're going to go to the edge, and that gives us our nice clean 3x3 corner spiral, and you just continue that as far as you want to go. And then for the sake of showing you, you can do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and delete all these. We can go ahead and do the same thing all the way across here. So we know this one's going to be, what is it, 4? So this is 2 up, 3 up, 4 up. And you'll take your flat and you'll put it on each into these. And this is just showing you for the sake of, like, you can do this with any spiral. So that was 3 up, the 4 total. 1, 2, 3, 4 total. So we're looking for 5 total. This is 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, if you look, are just like before when all the rails were on the ground and all ended the same place, all of the rails are actually going to end at the same place again. So we're just going to go up like this, so on and so forth. And that's how you make your base spiral, just like that. Get nice, clean, perfect 90-degree corners going up. Something to watch out for is when you're using the 3x3 in particular, the smallest circle you can do, sometimes it's a little tough to build enough space for your locomotive or your train to be able to clear the foundation below it. So as you come up on, imagine this spiral here was a tighter spiral, smaller in diameter. If this foundation was much closer, because this whole thing is collapsed a little bit, when you build your foundations out or your whatever supports you want to do, or maybe you just want a floating spiral, you can do that too. If you have a floating spiral, it's not a problem. But if you have foundations or some sort of support system to make it look anchored into the world, you'll run into where the top of your locomotive might clip into the bottom of your next foundation up. So we can go ahead and keep continuing this process all the way up. Go one more, put a flat. I think by now you guys are starting to get the idea. One more and then a flat. And then we're going to build this direction. So now we're there. Oops. And then we'll bring our railways all the way up. Right to the corner, just like that. And you'll notice some weird clipping. That's just because you haven't deleted your foundations yet. What I normally do is, just like I did over there, I'll come back through and I'll delete all of these corner pieces. Anything that's not a part of the actual support structure will be gone. So all this stuff will be gone. So on and so forth. And that'll end up looking a lot cleaner like this, because you don't have all that stuff clipping through the rails. You'll still get a little bit of clipping here, but there's actually a little bit of a fix you can do for that. If we come back to our main spiral here, because I don't actually want to build, like, I don't want to tear this, I don't want to duplicate this for no reason, I should say. There's zero reason for me to rebuild this entire spiral if you can just see what's going on from this angle. So what I do is, on this one it was a 6x6 to get around this pillar at the right angle, I guess. What I do is, instead of using the double ramp on the transition, I use just a regular ramp and then a flat underneath. And to do that, we'll go ahead and delete both of those. So here you can see there's nothing attached. Imagine I built 6 down and 6 across. I would end up with a double ramp that would be at this elevation right there. It would be the correct elevation. But instead, I delete that last one, and then I do a single ramp, and then underneath that, you have to build a regular foundation, and from there, you'll be able to build these double ramps. If you try to put an inverted ramp first, like this, you can't put your double ramp against it. It won't connect. You know, it'll go off the different angles or whatever, but you can't actually make it connect. That's an important thing to know if you're trying to do nice smooth transitions and have like a support structure like I've done here. Or you can just do floating rails, because I know a lot of people do kind of like that look too, where it's just unsupported and almost space agey. But there you go. That's a quick rundown on how the spiral works, how to set it up, how right angles work on monorails. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Thanks for tuning in. What is up, guys? Chase here with a quick tutorial. Well, maybe quick. It turned out to be a 2-hour-long video. I don't know. I'm an idiot.